We're all seeing it, right? AI is absolutely exploding with potential. But there's a dark side, a hidden danger that can be unlocked with just a few clever words. This creates a massive problem. And the wild part? The solution might be coming from a place you would never, ever expect. So what you're looking at right here, this is an AI that's been intentionally broken. It's a real example of a technique called jailbreaking, where you basically trick an AI into throwing its safety protocols out the window. And yeah, you can see the result. The AI just completely ditches its helpful, friendly persona for that. Aggressive, unfiltered, and totally off the rails.
Okay, so it's easy to dismiss this as just some offensive language, but this problem goes way, way deeper. This is a fundamental vulnerability, and it's at the very heart of the AI we're all starting to use. We're talking about AIs being tricked into leaking your private data, spitting out malicious code for hackers, or becoming these super spreaders of disinformation. It's a huge problem.
I mean, the difference is just night and day, right? On one hand, you've got your standard AI, built with all these guardrails to be helpful and harmless, but then you jailbreak it and boom, it's like you've unleashed this lawless agent that can be forced to do pretty much anything, no matter how dangerous. This isn't a small bug. It's a critical flaw in even the most advanced systems out there. So that's the billion-dollar question, isn't it? How do you put the genie back in the bottle? How do you enforce rules on something that's been specifically designed to ignore all the rules? Well, the answer, it comes from somewhere completely out of left field.
Yeah, the person who came up with this wasn't some PhD at a huge tech company. He's a self-taught motoboy, a motorcycle courier from the coast of Brazil. And that perspective is key. He saw this not as a coding challenge, but as a governance problem. A problem of rules and enforcement. And he built the answer from the ground up.
He calls his creation Usina Cilia. And the best way to think about it is like an intelligent, sovereign firewall. See, it doesn't try to mess with the AI's internal programming. Instead, it just wraps a protective layer of rules around the AI. This makes it totally agnostic. It doesn't matter if you're using a model from OpenAI, Google, or whoever. It just plugs in via their API and takes control. Okay, so how does it actually work? Well, the heart of the whole thing is a surprisingly simple JSON file called an LCC, which stands for Leia com calma. That's Portuguese for read calmly. Think of it as a constitution for the AI, or as the creator calls it, the future defined by user. The user, that's you or your company, creates this rulebook right in the software. Then, every single time you send a prompt, Usina Cilia jumps in. It intercepts your request, injects this entire rulebook alongside it, and then, this is the crucial part, it audits the AI's response against those rules before you ever get to see it. If anything violates the Constitution, it gets blocked. Simple as that.
Now you might be thinking, doesn't this just stifle the AI? Doesn't it kill its creativity? And the answer is no, not at all. It's more like this. You let the AI brainstorm freely in its own mind, explore all the possibilities to find the absolute best answer. But when it comes time to speak, it has to follow the law you've laid out. This ensures the final output isn't just creative, but also compliant, logical, and safe.
All right, so that all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in practice? Let's look at a couple of real-world examples. Okay, let's start with a pretty straightforward test. Someone asked the AI about a famous football coach, Abel Ferreira. Without the LLC, the standard AI just goes off the rails. It starts hallucinating, confidently making stuff up. The answers were rambling, contradictory, and flat out wrong. But then you run the same query with an LLC in place, one that demands fact-checking and verifiable sources, and what do you get? A concise, accurate summary. The rules literally forced a better, factual outcome. Okay, that's a sports question. But what happens when we raise the stakes? Like a lot. Let's try a really complex legal query. Without the LCC, the AI is a disaster. It mixes up legal concepts and presents completely wrong analysis with total confidence. It's dangerous. But with the LCC governing it, the AI becomes a totally different beast. It's cautious, it's reliable, it correctly identifies all the nuances, and importantly, it refuses to speculate beyond the legal text it was given. It behaves exactly how you'd want a legal assistant to behave. So you see, this kind of control isn't just some neat feature. It's fast becoming a legal necessity. Most AI governance systems out there right now rely on internal rules set by the provider. Rules we've already seen can be bypassed. Usina Cilia is different. It's a more modern approach, an external layer of enforcement that's basically built for the future of AI regulation. And that future is already here. You've got massive regulations like the EU's AI Act, GDPR, and new ISO standards, and they all demand one thing: proof. Companies need to be able to prove their AI systems are behaving correctly. They need detailed, traceable logs for every single interaction. Uasina Suya was literally built from the ground up to provide exactly that.
For any company using AI, this is a game changer. You get immutable, tamper-proof logs for every interaction. Each one has a cryptographic hash, so you can prove it hasn't been altered. This gives you concrete, verifiable proof of compliance, the exact kind of evidence regulators are asking for. And since it's middleware, you get that same rock-solid governance no matter which AI provider you're hooked into.
So this brings us back to the creator. What happens when a motoboy from Brazil builds a system that solves one of the biggest, most expensive problems that big tech is facing right now? The journey of this idea is just incredible. It started in 2024 as just a simple idea and a text file to control AI answers. By early 2025, it had evolved into a structured JSON protocol, the LSC we talked about. A few months later, the USNICU middleware concept was born, and by the end of the year, it had been validated against 6 different world-class AIs, proving that the concept is universal. It just works.
So what's an idea like that worth? Well, the estimated intellectual property value is $7.19 million. And just like that, a personal project becomes a high-stakes business venture called Mentrix Corporation, and a motoboy becomes a CEO.
And his perspective is everything. I love this quote from him: "I'm not the programmer. I am the architect of risk governance." See? He nailed it. He didn't set out to build a better AI. He built the constitution that forces any AI to be better. So could a protocol born from a motoboy's insight really become the global standard for trustworthy AI? This whole story is an amazing reminder that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs don't come from the center of the tech universe, but from someone on the outside looking in with a fresh pair of eyes. And I think the big takeaway here is pretty clear. In this new age of AI, a simple, powerful framework can be so much more effective than just another complex algorithm.